Most people, as they're going on their, their healing journeys, their psychedelic journeys, my first, kind of entrance to all of that was, ayahuasca. And then of course, there were other uh, substances as well later on, but that's kind of the one that so many people hear about, right? And the
Mhm.
documentaries and things. So how are those two different?
Well, I mean, they're very different because they come from different parts of the world. So, you have iboga coming from Africa. It's been used for 100 or more years as a sacrament with the Bwiti tribe. And the Bwiti tribe has used it for initiations, rite of passage. They've also used it in smaller doses for staying awake when they're out on their hunting and gathering expeditions. It's also been used for various mental symptoms as a treatment. So, someone that might have chronic depression, it's a little bit the way that problems and symptoms manifest are a little bit different in the African tribes, but it's been used mostly as a medicine and sometimes as a sacrament in religion and also as a means to stay awake on long journeys, right? In like small doses. And with ayahuasca, this is going to come from the Peruvian jungles. This is a mix of a couple of different plants. It's a tea, it's a brew that you're going to drink, whereas iboga is a root bark that you're going to eat or consume in a powder form. And the ayahuasca experience has DMT in it, so it's a very visual experience and it's shorter. It's going to be 4 to 6, maybe 8 hours, depending on how many cups of tea you take. With iboga, that can be a 3-day experience. Again, it depends what indigenous tribe you're with. Like if you're actually in Africa doing an initiation, it's going to be much different than if you're doing it more in a modern way. It'll be still, to about 72-hour process. And even with ibogaine is a little bit different than iboga because it's done in a medical facility. And so you have heart monitors on, you have to do all of these medical protocols beforehand and screening to make sure that your vitals and your organs are in a good enough state to undergo something like ibogaine because it does have a strong influence over the heart. So they're quite different, but they're also similar in that they're very powerful and purging a lot of toxicity out of the body, cleaning out the gut, and at the same time as detoxing the body on both a physical and energetic level, because you can exorcise a lot of energies out, and some people believe like entities out, and all of these things, in addition to the toxicity that builds up into our gut, which actually is responsible for a lot of the addictive cravings, because the gut and the brain just are the same thing, really. And so at the
Wow. Wait,
same time,
I want to stop you there because that's interesting. So you just said that the gut and the brain is responsible for a lot of the cravings and the addictive aspects.
well, I mean, when we talk about addiction, it is quite comprehensive. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the core of it, but for me, I think it's a very spiritual thing when it comes to addiction. To me, you have basically manifested another um, you in the spiritual realm. So if you're smoking cigarettes, let's say, the more you smoke a cigarette, the more that there's another part of you addicted to the cigarette that has manifested. So to me, it's a very spiritual thing, but we can also look at it, on a mental, emotional, physical level. And when we look at it on a physical level, yes, I think that the gut is largely responsible for these cravings because we create this ecosystem inside not only our mental faculties, but also inside of our gut. And so whatever we are feeding on is what is growing inside that ecosystem, and that is what is going to continue to the cravings are going to continue to come to feed that ecosystem, right? And so we know now through scientific research that the gut and the brain are directly connected and that the brain has neurons all through the body. So what's interesting about iboga and ayahuasca is that they're purgatives, right? They are helping to purge the body, but at the same time, it's opening up this psycho-spiritual experience. And so with like iboga or ibogaine, for instance, and with ayahuasca, I would say too, you get sort of a life review, and it depends. it's different every time. You don't really know what's going to happen at all, but you tend to go back and visit your past, different parts of your life, see different themes in your life, and start to understand where the root of a lot of the issues are. Because a lot of the issues are somewhere deep in the past, deep in the memories, deep in the body, and they're dormant. They're in that subconscious. And what's interesting about psychedelics is that when you take them, they seem to remove that veil between the conscious and the subconscious, and so that you can enter into this world of information and unresolved burdens, really, so you can start to work on it. So it's pretty deep and heavy work, and there's a lot of uh, cautions and responsibilities that come with it.
See you next time at the Brave Table.